I stood in the rain-soaked cemetery, clutching the wilted flowers I'd brought for his grave. When the anonymous letter arrived in my mailbox that evening, slipped under the door like a venomous snake, it whispered of secrets he'd hidden, of a warehouse on the outskirts of town where truth lay buried deeper than his coffin. Betrayal clawed at my heart. Betrayal clawed at my heart. He'd promised forever, but now, widowed and alone with our young son, I felt the injustice of his sudden death unraveling everything I thought I knew. The pain was a knife twist, urging me to uncover what he'd left behind, even if it destroyed me. The days after his funeral blurred into a haze of grief and endless paperwork. I was 35, suddenly a single mother to our 5-year-old son, who kept asking why Daddy wasn't coming home. My hands trembled as I sorted through his belongings in our modest apartment, the scent of his cologne still lingering on his shirts like a cruel ghost. Bills piled up, and his life insurance barely covered the mortgage. I felt so vulnerable, like a fragile leaf in a storm, questioning every decision I'd made in our 10-year marriage. He'd been a quiet man, working long hours at his logistics job, always saying it was for our future. But now that future was ashes. One evening, as I tucked my son into bed, his innocent eyes pierced me. "Mommy, will we be okay?" he whispered, clutching his stuffed bear. I forced a smile, kissing his forehead. "Of course, sweetie. Mommy will make sure." But inside, doubt gnawed at me. That night, insomnia gripped me, and I rifled through his old desk drawers again, hoping for some forgotten savings or clue. That's when I found the key. A small, rusted thing taped to the bottom of a drawer, labeled with an address I'd never heard of. An industrial park on the city's edge. Curiosity mixed with desperation drove me there the next morning. I left my son with a neighbor, promising to be back soon. The warehouse district was a forgotten relic, buildings sagging under years of neglect, weeds cracking through concrete. His key fit the lock on Unit 17, a dusty space filled with stacked boxes and forgotten machinery. My heart raced as I flicked on the dim light, dust motes dancing like accusations. Why had he hidden this from me? I wandered the aisles, my footsteps echoing, until I spotted it, a sealed box in the far corner, marked with his handwriting, "For emergencies only." It was taped shut, heavy, and my fingers itched to open it, but fear held me back. What if it was nothing? Or worse, everything? I sat on the cold floor, tears streaming down my face. Memories flooded me. Our wedding day, his gentle laugh, the way he'd hold me during storms. But his death, a car accident, they said, had always felt off. No witnesses, just a mangled vehicle on a rainy road. The police ruled it accidental, but whispers from his co-workers hinted at stress, debts, maybe. I wiped my eyes, steeling myself. If this box held answers, I needed them. With shaking hands, I peeled back the tape, the sound ripping through the silence like judgment. Inside, papers spilled out, bank statements, letters, photos. My breath caught as I scanned them. Hidden accounts, transfers to unknown names. A photo of him with a woman, her arm around him, smiling in a way he'd never smiled at me lately. Betrayal hit like a punch. But deeper in, a journal. His words, "I have to protect her and the boy. They're coming for me." Who? My mind spun. Then, at the bottom, a flash drive and a note. "If you're reading this, I'm gone. Trust no one in the family." Family? His brother, his sister-in-law. They'd been so supportive after the funeral. Or had they? I shoved everything back, panic rising. Headlights flashed outside the warehouse window. Someone was here. I froze, heart pounding. Was I followed? Heart pounding. Was I followed? The door creaked open, and a shadow fell across the floor. "Hello? Anyone in here?" A voice called, familiar, yet chilling. It was his brother's. I ducked behind a stack of crates, clutching the box to my chest, my pulse thundering in my ears. His brother's footsteps echoed closer, heavy and deliberate. "I know you're here," he called, his tone laced with false concern. "The neighbor mentioned you left in a hurry, thought you might need help." Help? My mind raced back to the journal's warning, "Trust no one in the family." I held my breath as he rummaged through nearby shelves, muttering under his breath. "Where is it?" She couldn't have found it already. Minutes stretched like hours until he finally left, slamming the door behind him. I exhaled shakily, emerging from my hiding spot. Why was he here? And what did he mean by it? I grabbed the box and slipped out a side exit, driving home with paranoia in the rear-view mirror. That night, after putting my son to bed, I locked every door and booted up my old laptop, the flash drive inserted with a click that felt like fate sealing itself. Files opened, spreadsheets, emails, recordings. The truth unfolded like a nightmare. He'd been embezzling from his company, not out of greed, but to pay off debts from his brother's gambling habits. His brother had dragged him into a scheme, borrowing money under his name, promising repayment that never came. Emails showed arguments. "You have to fix this," his brother wrote, "or they'll come after your family." The company, a front for shady investors, and he discovered their laundering operations. He'd gathered evidence to expose them, but the accident, recordings hinted at sabotage. "If anything happens to me," his voice said in an audio file, "it was them. Protect our son." Tears blurred the screen as betrayal deepened. Not just his secrets, but his family's complicity. His sister-in-law's calls after the funeral now seemed probing, not caring. "Did he leave any papers?" she'd ask sweetly. I felt foolish, vulnerable, like I'd been played from the start. But anger flickered beneath the pain, a spark of resolve. I couldn't crumble. My son needed me strong. I spent hours poring over the documents, connecting dots. The warehouse was in his name, hidden asset. The box, his insurance policy. The next day, I acted normal, dropping my son at kindergarten with a hug. "Be good, okay? Mommy loves you." He nodded, oblivious to my turmoil. At home, I called a lawyer friend anonymously, describing hypotheticals. If someone had evidence of fraud and foul play, I said, how to proceed safely. She advised caution, gather more proof, don't confront alone. Her words fueled me. I started digging online, tracing company names from the files. Twists emerged. His brother owned shares in the firm, hidden through shells. Evening brought a knock. His sister-in-law smiling with a casserole. "Just checking in," she said, eyes scanning the room. "You look tired." "Anything I can help with?" Tension crackled. "No, thanks," I replied, forcing calm. "We're managing." She lingered, chatting about memories, but her questions veered. "Did he ever mention a storage unit?" My skin crawled. "So, not that I recall." She left, but doubt seeded. Was she in on it? That night, another revelation, a letter in the box from him, undated. "My love, if you're reading this, forgive me. I tried to shield you. The accident might not be one. His wife knows everything. His wife, his brother's wife. Shock waves hit. She wasn't innocent. She was complicit. I paced, emotion surging, grief to rage. But I needed strategy, not impulse. I hid the box in a safe spot, vowing to build my case. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. "Stop digging," a gruff voice warned. "Or your boy pays." Terror gripped me. They knew. How? I hung up, rushing to pick up my son early, holding him tight. As we drove home, I glanced back. A car tailing us. The hook sank deep. This wasn't just betrayal, it was a threat to everything I held dear. Fear clawed at me that night, but as I watched my son sleep, his small chest rising peacefully, a shift happened. Vulnerability cracked, revealing steel beneath. No more hiding. I'd become the protector he needed. I installed security cameras, changed locks, and enrolled in self-defense classes, not for violence, but confidence. Mornings, I jog, pushing my body to match my hardening resolve. "You're stronger than you think," the instructor said. I believed it now. Days turned strategic. I copied the box's contents to encrypted clouds, mailing duplicates to trusted out-of-state friends with instructions. "Open if I disappear." The lawyer friend connected me to a private investigator, paid anonymously. "Track his brother and sister-in-law," I instructed. Reports trickled in. Secret meetings with company execs, lavish spending despite claimed debts. Twists piled. His sister-in-law had an affair with the boss, emails proving she tipped off the sabotage. Dialogue with myself sharpened. "You were blind, but now you see." I practiced responses, role-playing confrontations in the mirror. Emotional growth surged, grief-fueled purpose. I volunteered at a widows' group, sharing diluted stories, gaining allies. One woman, a former prosecutor, became a confidant. "Revenge isn't rash," she advised. "Make it legal, psychological, expose them where it hurts." Tension rose as threats escalated. Anonymous texts. "Back off." I reported them to police, building a trail. One evening, his brother showed up unannounced. "We need to talk," he said, eyes shifty. We sat in the kitchen, my recorder hidden. "About what?" I asked innocently. "His stuff." "Any boxes." His desperation showed. "Why?" I probed. He stumbled. "Just family heirlooms." "Lies." I smiled inwardly, steering. "You mean the warehouse?" I found it. His face paled. "What was inside?" "Nothing much." I lied. He left agitated. A W. Infamy. My son noticed changes. "Mommy, you're like a superhero now," he said, drawing me with a cape. Laughter returned, bittersweet. But revelations kept coming. The investigator uncovered forged documents. His brother had altered the will, claiming more assets. Injustice burned. I met the prosecutor friend covertly. "We can build a case for fraud. Conspiracy," she said, "but need solid proof." The box provided it. Planning deepened. I'd leak info psychologically, anonymous tips to the company board. Stirring paranoia. His sister-in-law called, voice cracking. "Are you okay? Heard rumors?" "What rumors?" I feigned. "About debts." Her fear was palpable. I hung up, empowered. A twist hit hard. A file revealed he tried leaving me clues before dying. A missed voicemail. "I love you." Check the desk. Guilt mixed with love, strengthening me. I attended therapy, processing emotions, emerging fearless. But the cliffhanger came one stormy night. A break-in, shadowy figure fleeing as alarms blared. Police found footprints matching his brother's shoes. Evidence mounted, but danger peaked. As I comforted my terrified son, I whispered, "It's almost over. Tomorrow, I'd strike," calling a meeting with them, pretending vulnerability. Little did they know, it was a trap. The meeting was set in a neutral cafe, daylight streaming through windows like spotlights on their guilt. I arrived early, composed, the vulnerable widow they'd underestimated, gone replaced by a strategic force. His brother and sister-in-law slid into the booth, faces masks of concern. "Thanks for coming," I said evenly, sipping coffee. "We worry about you," she replied, her smile brittle. He nodded, fidgeting. Dialogue tensed immediately. "I found things," I began, watching their reactions. "About the accident, the debts." His eyes widened. "What things?" "Evidence," I said. "Recordings, papers proving you dragged him into your mess, then covered it up." She gasped. "That's absurd," but her voice shook. I laid out photos from the investigator, meetings, affairs. You knew about the sabotage. I accused her. For what? Money? Power? He leaned forward, whispering harshly. You don't understand. It was an accident. Lies crumbled as I played a recording, his voice admitting complicity. How? He stammered. Doesn't matter, I replied. What matters is I have copies everywhere. One word, and it goes to police, the board, media. Psychological warfare. Their faces, drained of color. Please, she begged, tears flowing. We have kids too. Emotional leverage. I felt a pang, but remembered my son's fear. You're ruined, I continued. But I'll offer a deal. Confess everything legally, return stolen assets, or expose you. Twists reversed. They were vulnerable now. He blustered, you bluff. I slid over a folder. Copies of tips I'd sent anonymously, stirring investigations already. The company's auditing. Your shares, frozen. She broke first. It was his idea. I just went along. Betrayal looped back, fracturing them. They signed affidavits I'd prepared with my lawyer, admitting fraud, conspiracy. No violence, just truths played. Police arrived discreetly after my sig. Arrests followed, charges sticking. Media frenzy, family betrayal in corporate scandal. I shielded my son, moving us to a new home with recovered funds. Closure came in court, their pleas guilty, sentences fitting. I testified, voice steady, he deserved better. Outside, rain fell like cleansing. I visited his grave, whispering, I did it for us. Transformed, I started a foundation for widows, channeling strength. My son thrived, proud. You're my hero, Mommy. Fearless. I embraced life, dating cautiously, laughing freely. Destiny changed, not broken, but forged anew. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments.